again, everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you live from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 4th day of February in the year 2025. Sure hope you're enjoying your Tuesdays, no matter where it is you are in the country. Here in the Northeast, it's a little bit more mild than it has been recently. It's about 47 degrees right now in downtown Kearny, New Jersey. So hope you're enjoying the day, no matter where it is you are. And as you do each and every Tuesday, you welcome me into your home so that I can bring you this week's news. And we actually have a lot of new things that won't be in the paper this week that I need to get to today. So you'll bear with me. There's going to be a lot of stuff that is not yet in the newspaper that we're going to get to, and I'm going to try to get as much as of this today as I possibly can. And we welcome in my dear friend Manny Ventoso, who is watching us from somewhere in the area, probably working his butt off as he normally is. And anybody else who's watching in the background, we welcome you as well. Before I get into things, though, I just want to remind you about this. This is what's happening over at the Spanish Pavilion. For those of you, if you're watching this, more than likely you have heard of the Spanish Pavilion. Mike Fernandez and his family have owned the place since 1976, and Michael is doing a great job over there. And he's offering this discount to West Hudson residents. If you come and you are from Kearny, Harrison, or East Newark, you will get 15% off your food order. It doesn't include alcohol, but it is your food order. And if you're looking for great Spanish food, you know Mike does a tremendous job there. In fact, he partially catered my 50th birthday party, and it was phenomenal. So I hope you will consider going over there, especially if you have no plans and you want to get something to eat. You won't be disappointed. It's right at 31 Harrison Avenue, right at the foot of Passaic Avenue. Make reservations. You can call 973-485-7750. 973-485-7750, or order online or visit to see the menu, SpanishPavilion.com. Let Mike know that the Observer sent you if you do go over there. Now, this was something that was a reminder to me from Councilwoman Mary Trine DeCastro, and that is that a few months ago, the Greeks reopened with Maria and Volandis, who you see right here, Germanis, and they had a grand opening. Unfortunately, we weren't there, but I got to be honest with you. As much as I miss John, I certainly miss John, Maria, and Volandis, and George, that is Maria's father. George is at the very end on the right-hand side. They're doing a phenomenal job at the Greeks and keeping John's tradition alive and well. So I have to be honest with you. I don't know everybody in the picture, but third from the left is Maria, and she's married to Volandis, who is next to her. Then I know the rest are family, but two over is Nicoletta, who is Maria's sister, who is working there, and at the very end is George, and she is the dad of Maria and Nicoletta. And I'm very happy to see they're doing so well over at the Greeks, because you never know. When you switch things up, things change. This was from the ribbon cutting. The mayor and the council were on hand. You can see in the picture, Councilman George Zapata is there, and Mayor Doyle is there, Councilwoman Eckel, Councilwoman DeCastro, and Lila DeCastro is there as well for that one. And this is, of course, my favorite family in Kearny. The Miller family, Maggie and Pete, are in there, and then some of the relatives of the Germanis family. And there, of course, are the two deputy mayors and the mayor with the new owners, Maria and Volandis. So check out the Greeks over on Elm Street. They're doing a phenomenal job in John's wake, but we miss John. In fact, I was just talking to him before I went on the air. He is teaching now. John is at Harrison High School, the culinary arts. He's doing very, very well there, very successful. Who better to teach kids how to cook than John? And I'm serious here. And and a lot of the food there is always not the healthiest, but John knows what he's doing, and he has taught Maria and Volandis very, very well. And George, of course, is an expert. They were all experts. They've all people done this for a very, very long time. But check it out if you haven't seen it yet. The New Greeks is absolutely fantastic. I also want to welcome in Henry Atwell, who is joining us today. It's good to see him. Carol Hearn Manley, my birthday sister, September 21st, is with us today, and my dear friend, an old pal, Ivan Anderson, who is joining us from north of the border. Hello, Ivan. I hope everything is well up there, and I was glad to see that the tariffs were put on hold for at least 30 days. We'll see what happens after that, though. Now, on Sunday, it was the annual Four Chaplains Mass, which used to be known more colloquially as the Father Washington Mass. Father Washington was one of four chaplains, and when we were there, when they died in 1943, on February 3rd, 1943, and Father Washington was a parochial vicar at St. Stephen's in Kearny, and every year since then there has been a massive remembrance for Father Washington and the other chaplains who were on board, and of course there is also a shrine to the four chaplains at St. Stephen's Church. But I wanted everybody to get a chance to see a little bit of the sights and sounds of the Father Washington Mass, because in the Four Chaplains Mass, one of the biggest parts of the day is the music, and it's got a very patriotic flair to it. So without me wasting any more time, let me show you a clip from the Father Washington Mass on Sunday, and tell you before I get there that the celebrant was Bishop Michael Saporito, the regional bishop of Bergen County, and he was, of course, joined by the priest of St. Stephen's and Father Joe Mancini, the pastor. So here's a little bit of a look of the processional and the national anthem from Sunday afternoon at St. Stephen's. Here it is. couldn't see it from the video, but up in the balcony playing the timpani drums was my dear friend Jerry Facito, councilman from the town of Kearny, and he does a phenomenal job. He volunteers to be part of the choir every year for the Four Chaplains Mass, but you could certainly hear him playing and doing a beautiful job, as he does every year, as the whole choir does. And let me tell you something about Stuart Shear, who was singing. Stuart Shear joined St. Stephen's Parish in 1979, and he is still there almost every week singing at Mass at St. Stephen's. I've always loved Stuart's voice, and whenever he wasn't singing, I definitely missed it. And I can't believe all these years later, Stuart is still up there singing away, and he's not even Catholic. How about that? That's an amazing tidbit, but Stuart does a great job, but the whole choir did, and they do it every week. And Bob Madoff has been doing that for a long time, too, and he has always made the choir as good as it gets in this neck of the woods. So I'm glad I was able to show you that. I was glad I was able to attend it last week, and it was just a beautiful liturgy, to say the very least. Now, I got to tell you something. I was speaking with the chief of police yesterday, and he informs me that there are a lot of people in the town of Kearny who of late have been ignoring school bus stop signs and red lights. And folks, it doesn't get any dumber than ignoring school bus red lights. And what he has been seeing from the crossing guards who are stationed throughout the town of Kearny is that people are not stopping. They just continue to pass through these school buses when the red lights are on. It's important to realize if the red lights are on and the arm is extended from the school bus and you are flowing in the same direction as the school bus, there is zero room for passing that school bus ever. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Now, you're supposed to stay 25 feet behind the school bus when the red lights go on. That's not always feasible when you're driving and they stop and put the lights on when you're not expecting it. So I'm not so sure that the 25-foot rule is necessarily going to be enforced on a regular basis, but you're supposed to try to keep 25 feet in distance between you and the school bus if you're following behind. But once those lights get on, you stop and you wait. Now, there are some exceptions, which I'm going to talk about briefly. If you are on a divided highway, that means there's a center median in the middle of the road. That means you can travel, if you're in the opposite direction, at 10 miles an hour past the light. But in Kearny, you're not going to see a street like this. There are no such streets that have a median or a divider that have, even though they're two-lane roads all over the place, if there's no divider, that means that you're stopping no matter what direction you are traveling. And the offense carries with it a severe fine of up to $100, up to 15 days in jail, and for subsequent offenses, even more money, more fines, same time in jail, and 5 points on your driver's license. It's one of the highest point totals you could get from a New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission surcharge anywhere. But let's be realistic here, okay? A young boy was hit by a car this morning. It wasn't a school bus, it wasn't in a school zone, but close enough. Now, that is involving just regular traffic. If you have people trying to pass a school bus when all you have got to do is wait for a few minutes, it's just mind-boggling that there are people who are passing. But this is what the crossing guards are reporting they're seeing. They are seeing people constantly passing school buses with the arms extended and with the red lights on. Folks, simple solution, don't do it. And I'm telling you this now, and you are going to be forewarned right now by Chief Scott McPhee that there will be police officers out there who are checking this, and you won't necessarily see them. because they're not going to be in police cars, but they will be looking to see if people are following the rules and regulations here. Because what's going to happen is somebody is eventually going to kill a child. It's just that simple if people don't start getting with this and following the regulations. So don't do it, and be prepared. You have been warned right now that the Kearny Police Department will be looking for this in the coming days. And if you get pulled over for this, get ready for 5 points on your license, potential pretty steep fine. I don't know if you're going to get 15 days in jail. Probably not, but who knows? Maybe you get a judge on a day where he's ticked off and he actually puts you behind bars. And I wouldn't mind seeing somebody get put behind bars for doing this. This is just insane. Just don't do it. Pay attention to the law or be ready to pay the consequences. It's that simple. And I really don't want to hear any stories from the chief saying that there has been an incident where somebody got hit by a car because they didn't stop at a school bus. It's just so simple, and it's more than likely not going to take long. Because you got to remember something: there are not many school buses in Kearny to begin with. Most of the school buses that are in the town are for students who have special needs or who have to be taken in from other parts or taken to other parts of the county or out of the county. So there's really there's no need for this. So just keep a very close eye. If you see a school bus and the lights are on, just stop and wait. Melanie is noting here that the only street in the area is Davis Avenue that has a median with the trees in the center. However, because it is only a 2-lane road, even though there's a median, you shouldn't be passing on the in the opposite direction of traffic. It's 4-lane roads, not 2-lane roads. So even if you're on Davis Avenue in Harrison, where there are trees in the middle of the road, stop. Don't go. So that's important to know. All right, so I got that out of the way, but there's no less important than this. All right, now, I told you I had a lot to get to today. And this next video clip that I'm going to show you is about 20 minutes long. So I want you to, if you need to tune out or whatever, you can go back, do your thing. But I really hope some of you will watch this, because this video was sent to me today by Dylan Sullivan. Dylan, as many of you know, climbed to within feet of the peak of Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania this summer. And there was a videographer who followed them along on the journey, and they released the video recently. Dylan sent it to me this morning, and I had a chance to go through it, and I knew I had to share this with everybody because Dylan is a senior at St. Peter's Prep, my alma mater, and he's been doing some incredible things in this town, and, of course, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro over the summer. So, without any further ado, this video, though it is 20 minutes in length, will give you an idea of just what Dylan Sullivan accomplished and how remarkable it is. He did it at the age of 17. He's 18 now, but he did it when he was 17. So without any further ado, Dylan Sullivan climbing to near the top of Mount Kilimanjaro.
Tyler Lee in action.
Yeah, baby.
Yes.
It's sick. A little chilly, but it's going down.
We are looking at the roof of Africa, folks.
I can't believe we're going to go to the top of that thing, dude.
19,341 feet. The Shining Mountain. And we'll be there in 3.5 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Just blowing up the pillow for tonight's Camp 2, Shari Camp on the Machame route on Kilimanjaro. My name is Greg Morrissey. I'm the founder of Mountain Goat Movement. I'm from New Jersey, spent most of my life in an urban environment. I grew up in the outdoors. Now with Mountain Goat Movement, I try to be of service to my community and bring young people out on transformative adventures.
Here we are. What's it called again?
Springlands Hotel, Moshi.
About an hour from the Machame route for Kilimanjaro. We depart tomorrow. Today is a rest day. Having some good food, drinking some good water. Let's have a day.
We have a small group, 2 current high school students, 1 recent college graduate, and then my good friend Tyler Lee from college.
I was scared to come. I broke my leg 3 years ago and wasn't quite sure that I could hike up a mountain. And I don't climb mountains. So when Greg asked me to come film, I was a bit nervous, but I thought, you know what? I need to do things that I'm scared of. I need to do things that are challenging because I know that every single thing in my life that's been really difficult has also been some of the most rewarding experiences that I've taken from or been part of.
We'll hike through all 4 seasons, summer through winter, and 5 different climate zones. So it's a very varied, impactful, depth-filled trip over the course of 7 days. It really is a life-changing, transformative experience.
I went on Kilimanjaro because it's an amazing experience and I wanted to challenge myself and get out of my comfort zone.
I decided to come to Africa because I wanted to experience something more than I was getting back in New Jersey. And I feel like I knew that this trip was going to be something different, but I really don't think I knew what to expect exactly. And I was really looking for a different experience.
I came to climb Mount Kilimanjaro because I felt like I was missing a piece of my identity. I was a sports player all my life, played on teams, and after graduating from college and moving into the corporate world, I felt like I had missed that piece of my life of being active every day and being a part of a team, working with people, working through difficult things. And I felt like this was a perfect opportunity to not only test myself physically, but mentally as well, to prove to myself that I can still overcome challenges, but to also come together on a team and work with people as well to achieve a common goal, whatever that may be.
My name is Yese Isaac Lema. I am a mountain guide. I've been working as a mountain guide for 14 years, and I've been on the top of Kilimanjaro for 540 trips. Mountain life is one of the mountains bring you close to God, and you can have a big chance to mediate and talk with God because sometimes you can see no car, no any hospitals. But when you keep talking with God, when anything you do, you say, in God's plan, this is gonna get well. In God's name. So that's bringing me close to God always, and it makes me happy always. Because as soon I talk with God, the right time it will come, and I will say, this is the answer of my prayers back there. So I'm really happy to stay and live the life of mountain.
Registering. You think you're gonna learn anything?
Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna learn a lot. Not only about this, but I think about myself too.
Are you excited, Will?
Yeah, it was a 20-hour long flight, yeah.
I feel great. I'm excited, nervous, a lot of emotion. It's taken a couple of months to get to this point, so just excited to get started.
Everyone is super and great. And here's Dory.
Hello. Hi.
And there's Jackson.
Jackson's ready.
Strong mind, strong heart. Just dream it, don't think it. Power to the people.
Let's go.
Ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Power to the people.
Right now it feels awkward because we're breathing differently. We're walking slower than normal. Problem is, if you move too quickly today, you'll feel great, but then by day 3, you're gonna be zonked. Over the next couple days, this will become our norm. And when it becomes our norm, that's when you really have time to think and reflect. And you just kind of let your thoughts come and go throughout the trip. It's just walking and breathing, taking in this beautiful place. And it becomes this really reflective spiritual experience.
I've established some meaningful relationships with our team of porters, primarily the head chief porter, Yesi. And every time I connect with Yesi, I learn something from him. I learn about how joyful life can be. And I think being here in Tanzania and on Kilimanjaro allows me to reframe my own life in the US and think about things that I'm grateful for, and kind of an understanding that you don't need much to do a lot.
Here we are, day 2.
Macho May Camp.
Slept in there. Yeah. And if you look over Greg's shoulder here,
That's where we're going.
we're going right up there.
To the top of the shining mountain, Kilimanjaro, or as the Messiah say, the house of God. 30 miles away at another 10,000 feet.
Wow.
Ready to rock and roll? Yes. Okay, let's go. Story. Day 2. First of all, with my team, we have become more than brothers or more than families, because this is very, very important things to have a good team chemistry. And to have a good team chemistry, you should be to make sure you can connect those people by big things which we call love and prayers. Because when you love someone, you should take care for this person.
Something I never felt before.
This is awesome. I think it's great to see folks from all over the world climbing Kilimanjaro.
Thankful for one moment at a time.
Yes. Yes, yes, eh.
Yes.
In the top, really?
Sante Sana. Camp 2.
So like in your face. It's here.
Yeah, it is. It's right here. Feeling good. Not many trees out here. We're in a cloud. And that's that.
This is as good as it gets. We have chicken, veggies and rice, string beans, banana, zucchini soup.
Thank you.
Ah, thank you, brother. We're at almost 13,000 feet. Camp 2.
The perfect man.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you doing today?
Amazing.
Yourself?
Great.
Today we're gonna sing It Is a Safety Rock. Tumaini sina ila damu yake Bwana, sina wema wa kutosha, zambi zangu kuziosha. O kwake Yesu nasimama, ndiye mwamba ni salama, ndiye mwamba ni salama. Super duper. Today's your day 3, sorry.
We're about to go to Lava Tower, then Bronco Wall. Going high up, higher than base camp, and then we're going low to sleep. So
It's an important day to acclimatize, and it'll probably be our most difficult day to date, but I think we're excited and ready.
let's
Are
get it.
you excited and ready,
Pumped.
Brennan?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. I'm gonna have to admit to you guys, I wasn't as ready, but I've been coached by team leader Greg to take it one thing at a time and to breathe.
Moments.
One moment at a time has got me to this point right now.
And we are not thinking about those situations. It's our dream to be to the roof of Africa. And we are ready for that. We power ourselves to bring ourselves to the top of Kilimanjaro.
It begins. Strong heart, strong mind. Very slow, pole pole.
Ndiye mwamba ni salama, njia yangu iwe ndefu. Yeye unipa wokovu, mawimbi yakinipiga. Nguvu zake ndizo nanga, o kwake Yesu nasimama. Ndiye mwamba ni salama, ndiye mwamba ni salama.
I find great joy with Mountain Goat movement. Obviously, I love being outside, especially with friends and family, and challenging myself. But what I have found to be very life-giving and rewarding is bringing young people out into these wild places and seeing them overcome challenges and obstacles, and seeing them come to particular understandings of themselves while finding joy in these beautiful places. And so I think, you know, that whole idea kind of resonates with the McCandless quote about, you know, happiness is only real when shared. Like, the outdoors is a vehicle, activities are a vehicle to cultivate lifelong bonds of meaning and value.
So hard today. Everyone's digging so deep, barely vertical. We're at like 14,700. Just 1 foot and breath. It'll be okay. What a rowdy hike.
Good times. The motto of Mountain Goat Movement is to find your peak, which means to not necessarily do more, but to be more. And I think whenever we go out on these wild adventures and we have to work in a team and overcome obstacles with others and within ourselves, we're able to become a version of ourselves that we want to be. And it's not necessarily this lifelong chase, but it is certainly a pursuit of leveraging relationships and the great outdoors to become better people and better servants of the communities and the families that we're a part of.
Came from camp down there. Okay. We're going. I'm officially worked. I was crushing it. Didn't think I was going to go anywhere today. Guess he got us up here. We're going farther, one thing at a time.
Tukaja machami geti, tukaja machami hati. Na leo tukoshira tutaenda Lavatawa. Tutapita na Baranko, tukiwa wote pamoja. Tutafika na Karanga, ndiye mwamba ni salama. Ndiye mwamba ni salama. Ndiye mwamba ni salama. Ndiye mwamba ni salama, ndiye mwamba ni salama. Ndiye mwamba ni salama.
Here we are, top of the Bronco wall. Yeah.
Yeah, we're about a day and a half away from our summit bid, which is very exciting. The summit is in view and close, attainable.
Summit of Kilimanjaro. Thanks to Yessi, Jackson, and Dory. I wouldn't be here. I feel
Fighting a lot of internal demons right now,
so much so.
but at least his
I'm here.
face is covered in sunscreen.
Yes, he got me dialed in. I have never seen it, but it's probably really white.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Not gonna get burned. Yes, he takes that seriously. Jackson drug me up the hill. This guy stuck with us the whole time. Blue tent. We're not there yet, but we're gonna get there. So that was the end. As far as we made it. And then we gotta go. It's time to go now. So, till next time.
On day 4, Tyler and I were just not feeling good. Tyler had developed fluid in his lungs, which is a sign of the early stages of high altitude pulmonary edema. And for me, I have been combating Lyme's disease for the last 8 to 10 months. But unfortunately, on the 4th day of our hike, the Lyme's disease reared its ugly head and it caused some vertigo, intense stomach pain, being disoriented. I was just completely out of it. Yessi made a really timely decision to have a helicopter flown into Camp 4 to pick up Tyler and I. For the first time ever in 14 years, as the leader, the caretaker, the provider for all things Mountain Goat, I did not complete the project, which was unexpected and disappointing at first. So to have this happen to us, kind of like we had to pivot. Upon reflection over these last couple days, it was the best thing that could have happened to me. And we've learned so much about each other and about ourselves in ways that, you know, I wouldn't be able to learn what I've learned over the last 48 hours had I made it to the summit. Us not summiting forced us, for the first time probably in a while, to synthesize and process our relationships, our experience in Africa, our work, all of it, and just pause.
This experience for me has been a full spectrum experience. I had the idea of summiting and we didn't. I have this unbelievable peace, even though we didn't complete the mission. And that's where it's like kind of cool to be open-minded to just being doing one thing at a time where you are and experiencing that.
I'm learning firsthand right now that we often learn more from our quote-unquote failures than our successes. Fortunately, the 3 young men who were part of this trip, Dylan, Brennan, and Will, because they were healthy and they were safe and there's an infrastructure in place by the 15+ porters on our team, they were able to continue on and make their summit bid. They understand the objective at hand. They have the skills, talent, and mentality to get to the top of Kilimanjaro, give it their best effort, and come down safe.
Our guide, Yessi, he is an inspiration, and he is a leader, and he is a special, special person. Sometimes the unexpected outcome happens, but it's the outcome that was meant to be. God had a plan for the trip, and this was the plan.
So for me, there was 5 days up the mountain, so many different ecological zones, and eventually after 5 days of hiking, I made it to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. I summited on Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. An extremely difficult, I would say the hardest thing I've ever done in my life was to basically crawl to the top of that mountain. That was the end result. Learned a lot of lessons about myself in through that moment. Two of the main points I think from this trip that I learned about myself, one of them in being that, just how small I am in this world. The second thing that I learned was how unexpected life can be.
I ended up summiting Kilimanjaro, and it's an accomplishment I won't ever forget.
I really learned a lot about myself and a lot about other people. Coming here was out of my comfort zone. It was really different for me, and I was really looking for something more. I was looking for an adventure, but something that was going to really teach me about life. And coming out here, I can really say, coming out of this experience, I really learned a lot more about myself and other people. When you're out there and it's just you and the mountain, you're given that time to just kind of reflect on your life and reflect on the things back home and really realize how minimalized everything is. And the people here, the people of Tanzania, they were so welcoming, they were so kind to you. It was just so different, because everybody back home, everybody's got their own lives going on, everybody's got their own movement, and out here everything's kind of just focused on you and other people and how you feel, and they're always asking how are you doing, how do you need this, do you need that, and that's a very, I feel, important thing that I feel like we should all kind of bring back to our society, because it's not just about how you feel or what you're going through, but it's also making sure that other people around you are being lifted up by you, and that's kind of something big that I learned.
And so there it is. That was Dylan's experience up at the top. What a remarkable thing. Now, as you can hear, the music still going on in the background. We just stopped that. Just bear with me. So I'm really glad I was able to share that, because it just what he's done, this young man, in such a short lifespan has been nothing short of amazing. So much so that I think I'm going to climb Kilimanjaro this summer. Just kidding. I don't think that is in the plans. I don't think it would be possible. Before I sign off, I do hope you'll pick up this week's edition of The Observer. A couple of things just to go over briefly. There is a new deputy chief in the Lyndhurst Police Department. That is Deputy Chief Carino. He is the first person to be deputy chief since 2020. A position hasn't been filled in a couple of years. Also, there were promotions from within, from lieutenant to Captain Vinny Ottieri, who is a very good friend, and Paul Haggerty, who is also a friend too, were both promoted to captain. They'll continue to do the great work that they do in the Lyndhurst Police Department. The West Hudson St. Patrick's Day Parade is coming up soon, and we have the biographies of the 3 Grand Marshals, the Grand Marshal Mark Wiggins, and the Deputy Grand Marshals Donna Bocchino, who is a councilwoman in North Arlington, and Mike Mara, who runs a soccer shop in the town of Kearny on Kearny Avenue. And also, in this week's edition of The Observer, we celebrate the 40th anniversary of Arlington Tax. Bernadette Antonelli began the business tax season in 1985, and here she is, 40 years later, still just doing her thing, but now her daughter, Brianna Crockett, is along for the ride with her, and they continue to do great work and are accepting new clients. So please be sure to check out this week's edition of The Observer. Some pretty cool things inside. That's going to do it for this week's edition of The Observer Live. Oh, my uncle is here. My Uncle Michael is here, too. Muga, good to see you. I love and miss you, too, man. Good to see you. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. But we'll talk soon. I'll give you a call, okay? But to everybody here, thank you for joining us today. We will be back a week from today, unless something breaks during the course of the week, at which point we will join you with that. From the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com, Kevin Canessa signing off for now, and we hope to see you back here again very, very soon. And enjoy the rest of your Tuesdays, everybody, and thanks again for being here. Bye-bye.